Welcome and welcome back to another episode of the For the Healthy Health podcast.
where we talk about conscious living, self awareness, and everything in between.
I'm your host, Ree.
Sunset Tim,
Thank you for joining us and allowing us to be a part of your journey.
how you feel today?
Um, I feel a lot of things, but right now, in this moment, I feel grateful. I feel joyous. I feel at peace. Yeah, I just feel a lot of high vibrational feelings right now. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm excited about that, to have a day off and just chill. I also want to say the last two episodes, y'all, my mother was here. So I had to kind of like watch what I said. And in a sense, I just really couldn't be my most authentic self. Like, y'all know we've had that conversation before when, we say your gut tells you I can't be my full, authentic self in front of this person. And I feel that around her, unfortunately. So a lot of what I wanted to say was censored. So
I think this is like everybody in front of their parents. You can't necessarily just
that's
like
true.
100% be who you is.
I think that's true. I
But just
think,
about everybody.
yeah, but I'm back. We back, baby.
Yeah.
How are you?
Um, I can feel me. I feel like you. I feel like I'm turning back into myself, like turning back into my natural wavelength.
Yeah.
Um, it's been good. It wasn't bad for me or none of these last couple of days, but I'm feeling more like my authentic self coming into more of my authentic self. Not all the way back into it, but I can feel me turning back into me. And it feels good. Trying to get everything back in order. Like I said, we went and visited my family on top of your mom, like coming in.
Yeah, just a little context. My mom was here for 3 weeks.
Yeah, she was
Three.
with us.
Three of them things.
She was here 3 weeks. We went and saw my family. It was a good time though. It was, but just like, when you are in an environment with other people, you have to, you cater to yourself, of course, first. Um, and then but cater to the energies and the needs of
Yeah.
everybody around you. But when you get back to your normal um mundane, right? You start to like curve back into the groove of you. So
Yeah.
that's what I think both of us at right now. So
Yeah. Just getting our energies back to normal frequencies because, you know, we usually aren't around a ton of people. So in a sense, I feel drained. Not in a bad way, but I just like my social battery it
yeah.
needs to be charged some.
Yeah, we don't do too much socializing, so that was a lot over these last 3-4 weeks for us.
Definitely.
So, um, we definitely gonna take it easy for the next couple for sure.
For sure.
And how y'all been from the cubes?
From the cubicle, and we saw your outfits.
Yeah, we
Period.
saw the work fit at a couple teachers out there and such.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with the fits
yeah.
though.
So
Y'all
shout out
had
to everybody who sent us a work fit, who DM'd us, talking
yeah
about your job, talking about how you feel. We love to see
yeah I
it.
appreciate that. That was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, and I have it on my heart to say this: like all the love and support is filled, like at all times. But when we say we love y'all, we're grateful. We mean it. We don't take this shit lightly at all. Like this is a dream come true for us.
Yeah,
We don't take none of this shit lightly. So I just want to let y'all know.
yeah for sure. We've had life without this. And I like life with it a lot more. So we definitely appreciate everything we got going.
For sure.
Get them totes. By the time y'all hear this, get
Oh,
them totes now. Y'all be asking and asking.
I'm glad you said that. I completely
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah, yeah. We had to bring it up. Y'all be asking and asking about the totes now. By the time you hear this now, them totes gonna be up.
Yeah, the toast this Friday, June 2nd, for the Healthy Health Toast, the green and the cream colors will be available for pre-order.
Yeah, like I said, make sure y'all go get that because y'all be asking now. And when
I
that
forgot
time
all about
come, yeah, they
that.
be asking. The next drop, I know, like, ain't no telling when the next one gonna be. So, like,
Facts.
be on your toes, sis.
Yeah, be on them toes.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that being said, what we rapping about today?
Today we're talking about our relationship with our mind and addressing the fact that we are not our mind. I remember some episodes ago we mentioned stop giving your thoughts so much meaning and attention
Tension,
and
yeah.
power. And that particular, we made a podcast clip for that on TikTok, and it went viral. And we had so many questions about that
Yeah.
particular thing, like, but how? How do I stop? Da, 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 da. So we figured, we knew, like, in that moment that we have to do we have to do an episode on this. Like, you are not your mind. So that's what we're talking about today.
Yes. And it sounds like to me, when I hear it, if I've never really been introduced to that concept, it can seem like a complicated thing, but it is also very simple to do.
Yeah,
And you've done it before, you just aren't aware of it.
exactly, exactly.
So we'll start off. I'll ask you, like, what has your relationship kind of been with the highway of thoughts that travel through your mind throughout your life?
Yeah. For me, like, even just hearing you are not your mind. When I first heard of that concept, which that concept is derived from, I first heard it from eckhart tolle. It's insane to me. What do you mean I'm not my mind? Like, these are my thoughts. That makes no sense. It made no sense to me at first, because I lived most of my life deeming my thoughts as right. If I thought that shit, that's right. Like, even if it's thoughts that are demeaning to my existence, I, like, if I thought that shit, that's right. That's exactly right. And because I had that thought process that I am my mind, me and my mind are one entity, I allow my thoughts to control me, to control my actions. Like I said before, even if they were thoughts that were not serving me, I used to tell myself all kind of things about not only myself but about the world. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty. I'm not smart. And a lot of that was based on how I was treated. As far as, like, not being smart, like how I was treated specifically by my mom. I talked about this in the past. I think sometimes we don't realize how we talk to our children. And when I say our children, I just mean children in the world. We don't realize how those particular things that we say to these children affect their self-perception. Even if it could be a simple mistake, like, oh, I wasted juice on the floor. And my mom did it, and I've seen other parents do it. Like, they would freak out, make it a big deal. So it's almost like, wow, I can't do anything right. So then I would tell myself that same narrative. I would have those type of thoughts. And it completely ruins your self-perception. If your self-perception is in alignment with what you do in this world, your actions, the decisions that you make.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's a little history on my thoughts or in my mind. But now I've realized I've come such a long way. I've realized that thoughts are just thoughts. They're literally just thoughts, and I don't have to give a particular thought power. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but learning to just watch the thinker, just watch the thoughts come and go, not give them any power, and not being a slave to my mind, because that's the problem, I think, with society. We don't know how to stop thinking. I've heard people, and I've been guilty of this. I've gotten so much better, but my brain never cuts off. I've heard people say that my brain never stops. And when you are at that state in your journey, when you have constant thoughts and you haven't necessarily, like, found the off button, you are a slave to your mind. You're letting your mind control you. You know what I mean? And that's a journey that I'm obviously still on. I'm not a master of that, but I've come so far with that.
I like that. I like how you put that.
Do you?
I do. I was just sitting back. Sorry if my response was late. I was sitting back like a listener, just kind of taking it all in. So I apologize about that.
No, you're doing great. I appreciate that.
You're doing great.
So, how is your relationship with your mind? What does that look like for you?
I feel like for most of my life, I've always had a fear-based mindset.
Agreed.
always trying to predict the worst and prepare for it. It kind of always clouded whatever event I had going on. The worst was always at the front of my mind about what could happen. I remember the earliest thoughts I have on it is I play basketball, I still do. But when I was younger, when I played ball in the hood, I was so good. I was really good when I played ball in the hood. But when it came down to like organized ball or playing in front, we used to have this church league thing before you could actually like get to like eighth grade JV and stuff like that. Playing in front of crowds and things like that, I got so nervous and I couldn't ball the same. I just couldn't do it. I tense up and I wasn't the same basketball player in front of people. Back then, I didn't know. I mean, mental health was not necessarily a thing we talked about. I didn't know why, you know. So I just really thought like, damn, I'm just really not that good. Like maybe so. Like maybe I ain't that good. Maybe I'm just get like this around the kids in my neighborhood. I don't know why it didn't occur to me like the kids in my neighborhood were the best ballers like around anyways. Cause like I mean black kids in the hood we usually like
Have the
produce the
most
best.
talent.
We usually
Yeah,
produce the
yeah.
best ballers. So yeah, I'm playing against the best in my city in the hood with no refs. So it's like you should be way better even with refs now. But back then I couldn't really cycle why I was psyched out in these games. I'm always predicting the worst. What if I fall? I trip. What if I miss a shot completely? And like, what are people in the
Yeah.
crowd thinking about that? That is like one example of how fear has like came into every situation for me back then. As I got older, it knowed some because I had, of course, grown up, and I know when you are actually in need of fear when you're not in need of fear. But anxiety will trick you into believing you need fear around to just stay alive to even live.
Right.
So it was a circling process of like getting this fear out of me so I can finally step into the now and live. As I got older, I started to have more thoughts, like everybody should. But mines were like train wrecks, just coming and going. Like the train is like 1,000 miles an hour. It's like they never stopped. On top of that, I have a vast imagination, which helps my creativity. But on the downside, I'm a vast thinker, so I can get trapped into something and go so in depth with it and never let it go. So if a situation happened when I was younger or whenever a situation happened, I would think about it 11,000 times and take 11,000 angles with that one situation that happened, trying to figure out why I got treated like this or why this happened. And that's it. That's just my mind and my vast thinking, my vast imagination, and then almost addiction with fear would not let things go and trying to figure it out because I couldn't explain it to myself then, but fear has this connection with facts, right? So what you fear, you ultimately try to know the most about, right?
Okay.
So you won't do it. So ultimately, you never do it. But fear will have you doing nothing just to stay safe, and that's not a life
Right.
at all. So it all came to a head a couple years ago, where the thoughts just started to be so much I couldn't turn them off. I couldn't sleep. Um, in my personal history, I call it the mental scare of 2020. I think it was 2020 or either 2021. In my history, that was like it was like the worst time period for me in my life ever. I couldn't sleep. I'm talking about not even 40 minutes, 45, an hour, 2 hours in a day. I couldn't even sleep.
I
Man,
remember that.
yeah, yeah, you remember this time period. It was bad. And that's when I actually started to come out of it and stop doing so much fearful thinking in my mind and actually go look for some facts to what was actually going on in my head. Um, I found the book. When I found the book, I don't know if we had it already or you bought it for me.
The four gifts.
No, I had read that one before, and the four gifts helped me understand so much of me. But this was how to rewire our anxious mind.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
I think I bought that book that I was supposed to read it like I typically do
Do so many
sometimes, and
books.
then you end up reading it.
And I'm glad you bought it because if I hadn't had it, I don't know where I would have been.
Yeah.
It the book was like scientific and like I said, fear likes facts. So once fear met these facts, it actually helped me defeat it. I don't think fear knew that was coming though. That book helping me out so much, along with the power of now, which was where we like I said the concept of watching the thinker comes into play. I was actually able to translate even in scientific facts that I am not my mind. It is simply put just a tool, like my hands, my fingers, my knees, my feet. It is a tool used in the body. It is the problem solving tool. But the one thing I have noticed about the brain is almost like the show back in the day, Pinky and the Brain. The brain was the mouse who tried to run everything, right? It was him. The mind would do the same thing
Yeah.
in a sense, like a superstore. It's like the super manager acts like he owns the fucking place
Yeah.
and walks around and nobody can tell him anything. He can fire who he wants to fire.
Exactly.
That's what the mind acts like a lot of times. Like it can just control the entire superstore, and it's not the case.
Yeah.
The mind, more or less, is just like the manager of the produce. Like he
Yeah.
is just a person helping the entire superstore go to work.
Yes.
You are the entire superstore. The universe is created you in this sense to break you down in almost like three sections. I always like to put it: mind, body, and soul. We always think of those things.
Yeah.
And we like to think of them almost in a government sense. Like when we think about our government, the United States, we just say that. But it's three branches that make government.
Do
Just
you
like
remember
the
the branches?
judicial,
Legislative
judicial, is it legislative? You sure about that?
and executive.
Executive. I don't know. It's the president, Congress, and then you got the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
I know them three.
Oh, okay.
But your body works in the same manner. But all three are composed of you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not three individual yous. You are all these things at once.
Yeah.
But the mind will, and the mind has power. And the weirdest part, that's why the mind thinks he runs shit. Because the mind has power to paralyze the body. That's fight or flight, excuse me. Has power to paralyze the body. It has power to distract you to where you won't even think about your soul. The mind has this much power if we give it that.
Yes, I was gonna say
If we give it that, it will assume that power, that role, and catastrophic, how do I say it? Catastrophic amounts of worry and doubt and fear will set into the body and you'll forget all about the spirit that you have in you.
That's amazing. Like you're
Nah.
literally so smart.
Nah, not that smart.
Stop it.
I'm just around you a lot. That's all that is. But that's the role the mind will play if we don't check it sometimes. And checking it is watching the thing. Like I said, we're going to get into that a little more. But yeah, that's my history with my mind. It is a lot better. I have learned to let things go, which helped my mind so much. I'm still a vast thinker, but I'm only a vast thinker about things that actually matter and things that I can control.
Yeah.
Before I used to think vastly about other people's opinions about me, and that's just like a circus of other people's opinion could have the longest TV series of all time.
Yeah.
You could have literally 1 million seasons of what you think other people think of you. It's a never-ending episodes. Characters come and go. You can do it forever, right? But like I said, I focused in on what I can control, and that helped me out. Activities that deflate my mind, like turn it off, help me. Like working out, playing ball. My music helps me turn my brain off a lot of times. Even though it would seem like, I know a lot of this seems like, how do you turn your mind off when you playing ball? You got to think. Now you more or less just reacting quickly.
Yeah.
Same thing with music. I'm shuffling through my feelings. It seems like when we talk to ourselves, that's through our mind, but that's really not through our mind. That's
the soul.
That's our soul.
Yeah.
So we confuse that talking to ourselves as it's happening up here in the mind, but it's really more in the center of your body.
Especially like when it comes to creating.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity, true, authentic creativity comes from your soul.
It
So
does.
I can understand how your music is a creative outlet for you.
Yeah, for sure. So and like I said,
Or not creative.
like a way to turn the mind off.
Yeah, way to turn it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
just like then it's just like soul, matching the soul. Then like in the body is active. At times you just turn certain ones off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes the experience so much better. I don't know why this came in my head, but even like sex, if you cut the
When you were naming the things, I was thinking of that.
yeah, like with sex, if you turn the mind off during sex and just react and let the body kind of take control, even the spirit can take a 5 minute break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hope you lasting longer than 5 minutes, but let the spirit take a break. The
If they
body,
want to last 5 minutes,
if
let
you
it
want to last five
be.
minutes, that's cool
Well, it
too.
ain't
You know what
about
I
what you
mean?
want, but sometimes.
You want to last 5 minutes, that's cool. But even the spirit gets to take a break. The mind both when you having sex, and let the body kind of take over the entire process. You know what I mean? It makes
Yeah.
it so much better.
Yeah.
That's why I want to end it. I don't want to ramble on too long about my personal watching the thinker journey, but those just a couple things that helped me.
No, that was amazing, and you explained it so beautifully. You articulated it so well.
Stop
No,
it.
you really did,
Stop
because I
it.
think sometimes I'm not able to articulate or even
No, you do. You
think
do all the
back.
time.
Really, stop
Yes.
it. Thinking a little bit about what you said, it made me think back to some of my experiences. And I first want to say the mind is a beautiful thing, but it
It
also
is.
can be a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, if you let it use you and you don't use it as the tool that it is, it can be completely dangerous, because something that I suffer from is making up scenarios. This is the past, and I do sometimes still, but I catch myself. That's the most important thing. But in the past, I was making up these scenarios that were fear-based scenarios. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like, oh, I'm being delusional in the best possible way, but no, I'm making up these fear-based delusions, and it's just hurting me in the present moment. It's hurting my physical body. That's something I just wanted to mention that I don't think I mentioned when I talked about my experience with my mind.
Yeah, I get that. And to like roll that into something like we are what we think we are, right? Um, it goes back to like one of those old. You ever see people like kind of arguing? And one person is like, obviously somebody told a lie. They trying to figure out who lying, and they be like, "Well, believe what you want to believe, bro." That sentence alone can explain a lot of what goes on in your mind. You actually do believe whatever you want to believe.
Yeah,
Like you can believe that those scenarios, which didn't happen, are real. You can believe the thoughts that you talk about. I mean, the thoughts that you give yourself, positive or negative. You can believe those negative ones, or you can believe those positive ones.
yeah,
Whatever it is you want to believe, you can actually believe that shit.
absolutely.
If you want to believe you can do it, then you will start to take some type of action and form thoughts that give you the confidence that you can do it. And also, if you want to believe you can't do it, your mind will also find things that gives you facts that you cannot do it.
Yeah,
So ultimately, believe what you want to believe, bro, because it's
absolutely.
gonna happen.
Yeah, like an example, my mom, she was here and she would just say things. I can't think of anything particular, but she
That's a
would just,
wild woman.
she is wild, guys.
A
Like,
wild woman.
she's insane. But she would say these things, like, I'm trying to think of something. It's like fear based, negative things.
She say shit. One of them she say all the time is she be like, she telling our daughters good night. She's like, all right, I'll see y'all in the morning and be up. I'll be up with y'all when y'all get up for school, Lord willing.
Lord willing. A lot of old people say that though.
Lord willing. And I understand you could go. I understand you can go at any time. I understand life is fragile because most times you go to bed in your house. I mean, like 99.9% of the time, you usually are gonna wake up in the morning.
Yeah, you're usually gonna wake up unless you have some underlying
Like an asteroid hit your bedroom.
or health too. Take that into account.
Oh yeah, but
But if you are a
normal healthy being, you will wake up in the
you will
morning.
wake up in the morning. But not even that.
That shit
Like,
crazy.
she'll say stuff like, "Yeah, I'm broke," and she ain't even broke. Like, that's
Nowhere
what's
near.
killing me.
But
And
you hate that word
I
in
hate that
general.
word anyway. But I was just like, if you keep saying that, that's what you're gonna.
That's what you're gonna
That's
attract.
what it's gonna.
That's what you're gonna make.
Exactly, kind of like what we said on our last. Was it the last? It was the
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
before
before
last.
last,
Was just
yeah.
thinking about words. It's the same thing with thoughts.
Yeah.
If you keep saying or thinking a certain thing, then more than likely, yes. If you believe that thing, then yes, you're going to manifest that thing into your real life. You really do have the power to believe the thoughts that you want to believe the things you want to believe, and the shit you don't, or the shit you don't want to believe and you don't want into your life. Just let that thought pass. Be like, well, literally be like, well, damn.
Like, well,
Saw that
well.
one. Whoop, well, let's move on. And I know that's easier said than done, but it takes practice. If you think about it, me example, I was living my whole life believing that my body and my thoughts were one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to just wake up one day and be able to see a thought and not give it power. It's just like, that's just how life works. You're not going to be able to do that. It's something that you have to practice, and it's something that takes time.
Mm-hmm. And you can do it however you want to. Your self-perception like controls so much of it. What you think you can do, what you think you can't do, who you think you are and who you think you are not, is all kind of shaped by what you ultimately is shaped by what you do. But the easy route is to tell yourself, I am what I think I am.
Yeah.
That is the easy route. And that's why so many of us get trapped in it, because it's easy, it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's free to think you're a millionaire.
Yes.
It is actually harder to take the steps to become a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But if we just stay in the realm of thinking it forever, then ultimately our thoughts will start to feel like that. Our body will start to feel like I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, you'll start to embody it.
Yes, but with no actions, you might not ever get to those 7 figures though.
Yeah.
You have to realize that you are more your actions than you are your thoughts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Versus perception.
Absolutely. Actions over perception. You are more of what you do than what you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you might think you're doing enough, and your actions are telling you you are not, though.
Yeah.
So we have to be very gentle with our mental kind of like belief system. Be very gentle. I understand we love delusion. We love to be a little delusional, right? We love that. But it's a, I don't want to say a realistic delusion, but it's one of those things like, I'm an artist. I make my tapes from home. I record in my bedroom. When I record them motherfuckers is just as good as everything that they recording in these $1 million like studios. And that's like, of course my studio don't cost that much, but in reality, like the quality of the song is still depending on me.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Not the building I'm in or whatever it might be. So I just try to keep that in perspective. Cause yeah, I'm delusional about like my bedroom music sound better than these multi like platinum artists.
Yeah.
I'm a little delusional about that, you know, but I'm not delusional into a sense where I don't have to record and I'm still better than these niggas. Like that's just flat delusion in the wrong.
Yeah, that's just self-sabotage.
Yeah, that's
really.
self-sabotage. So we have to watch that belief system sometime, watch that mind. And you brought up watching the thinker is like, it's a very long process. I got that concept 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm still doing it to this day.
Facts.
And do it however you feel like, but this is a long process. It's not a 7-day fix. Like, I always want to tell people, like, a healing journey is not a 7-day thing. It's not I've been great for the last 3 days, or like 72 hours, 24 hours, 48.
30 days, shit.
Yeah, 30 days. Like, it's not a thing that is curable. It's more of a managing type thing.
Yeah, self-management. And I'm going to say one thing. You ready for it? It's a non-linear path.
Oh, God. There we go. I didn't know what was coming. It is. It's a non-linear path. It goes up. It goes down. It's not a straight line. It takes time. I've been watching The Thinker for 3 years, and I'm every day I'm better.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call me a master, but I think I've mastered practicing it.
Yeah.
And that's what made my mental health so much better, because I've mastered practicing.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered the gym, but I am becoming a master of going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, if I keep going, I'll keep figuring it out.
Exactly. And I know we keep mentioning watching The Thinker, but basically all that is what it sounds like.
Paying attention to the thoughts.
Exactly. Paying attention to those thoughts without judgment, not giving them power, not judging, just simply watching them come and watching them go. And at first it'll seem strange, but then after a while you will start to understand yourself as this separate entity than your mind.
Yeah, and start to use it as a tool.
Exactly.
When I was going through my mental crisis, one of the tools that I found, I can't remember what book it was, but it was like when you're starting to spiral, take a seat and imagine yourself in like the most comfortable setting. My image was always, and it's hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but it's crazy. My image used to be me on a park bench in a city, and like the kids playing, there are people at the park, and I'm just sitting on the bench with a book next to me, my right leg folded.
That's how you literally see it
That's how I feel most of the time.
anyway.
I had like dress pants on like I do now. I slacks. I had loafers on. This is before I had a pair of loafers. I wouldn't even think about that.
Really?
My shirt was tucked in, and I just sit on the bench and enjoying people and nature.
Yes.
When I used to have my train wreck of thoughts, I would stick to that image and try to block everything out until that image was like 1,000 wide screen that was in front of me that I couldn't see anything but that. And after a couple minutes of that image, I would be calm in real life. It was like it trained me to take that kind of like meditating kind of
Yeah,
things on the
yeah.
image, um, to drown out my thoughts. And that's just one of the techniques that like watching the thinker has got me.
Yes. And to go back on what you said, people watching is one of the best things ever.
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah.
the most calming things ever. Just simply people watching. When we were in Texas, was it last week? Couple
Yeah,
weeks
last
ago,
week.
I was waiting on our food from this restaurant called Spiral Dinery. Shout
Fuck,
out
they
to
can take my money.
Spiral.
Shout out to
So
Spiral. Fuck.
good. This is vegan. Oh, vegan restaurant is so good. Oh my God, take all my money, please. But I was waiting on the food and I was sitting on the bench right outside of the restaurant. And I'm just watching people go by. It's like one of the most calming things that you can ever do. So just sit down or even just go to a restaurant by yourself and just watch people.
Yeah. Don't get caught staring though.
Don't get caught.
That is, you got to be good at it too. Don't get caught staring.
Yeah.
And I know that the Spiral is on a corner. It's on the
is.
corner of like a little busy intersection with a lot of bars and like coffee shops. It's a beautiful place that people watch, and I like people watching so much. It lets me know how small I am.
Yes.
And that is, I wouldn't normally find comfort in being small, like playing small. But I think at times we blow life up so serious and everything is so major and all our events in our life are so big. Sometimes I like to sit back and know that I'm small and it's comfort and the rest of this world is going on without me. And I actually find comfort in that, right? Like, it's not like if I fail at this thing or I succeed, it's going to make a major change on my life. Ultimately, the major change comes within me. I like to know I'm small. I like to know that when I fail, I'm not going to destroy the entire city. I'm not as big as Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a small fall. You know what I mean? When I do fall, I like to know that I'm small in this universe. Because like I said, at times we can get trapped into ourselves, into our own minds, and thinking that we are not necessarily the world, but like our world is ending when something goes bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are small and take comfort in that smallness.
I love that.
You do?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's why I like the people watch so much. I know I guess we're gonna be talking about watching the thinker the entire time.
Yeah.
It's a more of a ratchet concept of one of the tools I used to use on watching the thinker. So bad thoughts used to come in, no matter what it is. Why I thought I was ugly or weak, broke, whatever it was, right? It would be. It's funny in our minds. We've had thoughts that we're ugly and we're not, and we've also had thoughts that we're handsome and we're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So it ultimately, in my mind, I usually think they come from two different people. Like one motherfucker would say it, and this guy from over here would scream back at him like, "He's ugly." No, he's fucking handsome. Like they would argue,
Kind of like the angel and the devil
kind of thing. Like,
concept.
so in my mind, I used to say I had so much chatter. I used to think I had 7 people. That was my number. I had 7.
Really? I think you've told me that.
I was
before.
7. It was like fear, curiosity. There was like joy, happiness, and like 7 different people who would argue their point.
Yeah.
Right. And when I started watching The Thinker, the funniest shit, I used to have the other six jump the one who said so. I know it's stupid, but I used
That's
to be like that. You'd be
hilarious.
like, if I had a moment where I looked at myself and and I would look up and be like, literally my little face would look up and be like, who the fuck said that? Come to the circle, like come to the circle. Who the fuck said that? That's watching The Thinker.
Yeah,
Like
that is watching a thinker.
that's watching The Thinker. Like
And
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
No,
you.
I was just gonna say we used to beat him up good to the point where he would barely want to speak at times.
God damn,
Beat him up
poor
really
guy.
good, real good.
But that's saying that out loud. It does. It sounds like you crazy as fuck. That's what
true.
it sounds like.
Yeah.
But people don't voice things like that.
Yeah, they
People
don't.
rarely voice things like that out of the fear of sounding like a crazy person. But I read The Power of Now years ago, and we recently, like today, we glimpsed through a couple of pages, and that's what that's what Eckhart Tolle was saying. He was just saying that, when we see someone walking down the street kind of mumbling to themselves or talking to themselves, you be like, wow, that person is going mad. Like, they're absolutely
You go
crazy.
downtown, you usually see homeless people that be rocking, talking out loud.
Yeah.
The voices in their head and just got so loud that now they're out loud. Bro.
Yes, but the thing is, it's no different than someone having all these thoughts.
Internally.
Like internal thoughts that never stop. Yours is just internal, and this person, they're saying these things out loud.
Yeah.
There's literally no difference. So you have to start watching that thinker and letting that shit come and go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't let it run you. Don't let it run your life. It's not that serious.
And just like when you open a lot of apps on your phone, you know how you do the one thing and you like close them?
Yeah. Ooh.
That's the
good
same thing
example.
with like thoughts and like nope. Like
yes, I love that example.
it's the exact same way. And after a while, you'll learn to just keep certain apps open. And other apps, they come around and somehow they open up. We don't know how they open up. It's just like when you take your phone out and be like, damn, let me call such and such. And your thumb accidentally goes straight to Instagram. And then you have to like go right out of it because you didn't mean to go. But your thumb just like.
That happens to me so much.
I'm ashamed how much it happens to me.
I be like, let me go on my phone because let me Google something because I be Googling every fucking thing. And I be, and now I'm on Instagram.
Now
I'm
I'm
like,
on
how did
Instagram.
I get there?
I go to Instagram to go to one of my saves and then be like, oh, damn, cuz when where? Oh, I go to his page. Now I'm going through the comments now.
And you forgot why you even went on there.
Oh, my God. I'm ashamed at how often my thumb does that. Oh, fuck, boy.
But that's just being conditioned to.
It's funny thought I used to tell Aubrey. Remember I used to talk out loud. She'd be like, who you talking to? I'd be like, the dude with my thumb. My bad.
You did.
I tell her that the dude with my thumb. Like,
You
that's
used to
funny.
have a name.
I did. I used to have a name for him. I can't remember. I used to say the
neither.
dude with my thumb I'm talking to. I'm a crazy individual.
You are.
But I tell people all the time, and people know this, if you know me in real life, you know when I've talked to myself. I've done it. I do it everywhere. Any job I ever had, they know me as a dude who, like, if you're not around, you'll see him talking. Like, it ain't loud. You just see my mouth moving, mumbling.
Yeah, I noticed that a long time ago
about me, like long time. I tell people all the time, you'll stop doing crazy shit if you say it out loud before you do it.
Yeah.
If you hear it before you do it, you be like, yeah, that's kind of. And I had crazy thoughts, and I have to say them out loud to myself sometimes. And
But also, you be rapping a lot too, though.
a lot of times I just be rapping to myself, and I want to hear it out loud too.
Yeah, that's what you do a lot too.
That's like 60% of the time.
Yeah, this guy's life is literally he hear a beat, he rapping. Like he experiences something, he's rapping about it. Like you literally rap, making poetry.
I'm a simple person.
You are.
Rap, ball, my lady, my kids. That's really where it stops at right there.
Yeah.
Very simple. You are too, though. Why we love each other.
I know. We do love each other. I am simple.
You are funny.
I know. When it comes to watching a thinker, something that I think is important to do and that I personally like to do is finding out the source for that particular thought. Again, without judgment, finding out like where did this come from? What triggered this? What limiting belief? Laminated. What limiting belief is this thought derived from? Or what subconscious belief? You know what I'm saying? And when you can kind of like dig deep and figure out like why how did I learn this? Who taught me this? What did I experience to make me feel this particular thought? You kind of have the solution. You kind of have the answer and be like, okay, well, I felt like I don't know. I always be trying to think of examples, and I'm not the example person. You are. You're so good at examples and metaphors. But you know, I think that I don't know. Shit, help me out. I think that there isn't a lot of money or money is limited because my mom used to tell me money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like everybody has these events in life that kind of shape them, and then
Yeah.
those. It's like the movie. Fuck, it's a Pixar movie. We should let them Inside Out,
Inside
and
out.
it talks about core memories and core things that happen to us in our lives produce these kind of things.
Right.
We try to either prevent them or repeat them. And that's where a lot of our thoughts come from. Our thoughts and emotions kind of like are in the same department. Like produce and like I don't know why produce and meat usually are in the grocery store are usually very close to each other, right?
Are they?
Think
Because I
about we
used
go
to
to our
work at a
Kroger.
grocery store.
You used to work at Save a Lot. It's barely a grocery store.
First of all,
I'm
it's
dissing
like
Save a Lot, not you, but that's barely a grocery
it's
store.
produce, and that's beside the point.
When you walk in the Kroger, you go to produce.
And
then
then
the
meat
meat.
is literally at the back of the store.
It's wrapped around. You go through the produce, and then the bakery, and then right there by the meat. You go in the Whole Foods, is the produce, and then you got the fish and like salmon, and you got the deli part right there. They be chopping shit up right there when you go in the Whole Foods.
Oh, okay. Don't diss Save a Lot though.
I fuck with Save a Lot. They put money in our pocket.
They did when I
They
was
did. When
16.
back when you had the Mazda.
When I had the Mazda.
Yes. I used to love the Mazda, by the way.
Did you?
I really did. A lot of good times in the Mazda. Good times.
For sure.
Yeah. Back to the subject at hand. Yeah, emotions and like our thoughts are all tied into the same department. These things that happen to us shape us. The traumas that we go through is why we, experience some of these thoughts sometimes.
Yeah.
As we're navigating life and trying to find our way within our family, usually within the family is a lot of these things.
Yes.
How you were treated in the family, how you treated yourself, and how others treated you.
Yeah.
In the family, your community, and your school. That is where most of these thoughts come from.
Yes.
So once we find this source, the actual reason why we did these things, I used to have so much fear and think about so many things and so many different layers because I'm the second oldest of four, but my oldest brother, he is more of a how do I say, a straightforward thinker. He thinks that he does it. Like
Facts.
he thinks that he does it. So a lot of times, me and him only
A year and a
a
half.
couple, not even really a year and a half. It's really less than a year. But like my mom had him, and then like I guess as quickly as she could get pregnant, she basically had me.
Okay.
Cause I'm gonna be 33. My brother 34, and
Is he 34? Yeah.
he barely 1 year older than me. Just a couple months. It's like 11 months in between our age. So we were basically like two big brothers at the same time. I was like the big brother, and he was at the same
Yeah.
time. We were going through things at the exact same time, and we had to care for our two younger brothers and ourselves early on because our father passed when we were young. My mom was a single mother, so I had to prepare things for the family, and I had to think about everybody else. And a lot of times, it would put me in autopilot mode to where I'm so far in my imagination while I'm doing things, imagining me doing other things. Because I'd rather not be doing this, but I got to take care of my brothers. I was cooking full meals when I was young. You know what I mean?
You
Like
told me that. That's
all this,
insane.
because my mom worked so many hours. So
Yeah.
and I wanted to fill in and help her and whatnot. So thinking about other people ultimately made me lose myself for a long time. So I didn't have confidence, and then the confidence, me lacking the doing the things I was imagining, brought fear when I actually did do them that I didn't know what I was doing. So the fear started to grow, and that's just like a source. Like
Right. Okay. Okay. That's the perfect
that's a source.
example of
That's
a
the perfect
source.
example of a source of where it came from. As I got older, I try to kind of think like my big brother do. Like think that shit. If it sound good, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always admired that about him. I tell him all the time, like everything he wanted to get involved in, he got involved in because he didn't think too hard about it. And I thought
Yes.
in basketball, me and my brother like say the same age. I thought I was better than him as a kid, but my brother always performed better in games than me because he wasn't thinking about the crowd and all this shit like that. He was just like, if I'm gonna go out there and ball, I'm gonna give it my all. Like he
Yeah.
did that. So he looked a lot better than me in games strictly because like
He didn't
he
overthink.
didn't overthink. He didn't have the mental hurdle to get through like I did.
Yeah.
Right. And he like I said, he always got involved in everything he wanted to do in high school. And when he played ball, he actually played with NBA players. Like, but he actually played with Bubba on it. He played
I
against
didn't
NBA
even know he
players.
played basketball.
Yeah, bro did. Yeah, he did. Before he got involved in the streets. Like
Yeah.
he got involved in the streets. Even the streets, like when he got involved in the streets, he got openly embraced there. Like
Yeah, he did.
worst parts of the city, he can go there any time of the night he wants to. I mean, I can too, but like he was more involved in the street shit than I was, right? Anything he ever wanted to do, he got right involved in it. You know what I mean? I always admired that about him. And I'm trying to be more like that. I want people to be more like that. Have that confidence that says you can do it if you think it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Big Bro.
Shout out to Big Bro.
Yeah,
Because if he watching the podcast,
he do. He gonna like that part.
he gonna love that
He
part.
gonna let that part. But
But yeah, source. And when you were talking about like your core memories and your emotions, our emotions and our feelings to a certain experience in our life is what makes something a core memory. As human beings, we work, we fuel off emotions and experiences. That's how we connect
yeah,
to really anything.
anything and everything.
But I just wanted to say that I thought that was interesting, y'all. I say interesting so much the last episode because I just was outside of my body last week, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's interesting that you say that.
Interesting.
It's interesting. That's really interesting, bruh. So yeah, to just reiterate, is that the word? Yeah. So okay.
Your mama, when she was here, was using words
That
like big
didn't
words, but
make-
they wasn't using them.
She be
correctly
like,
at all.
so in consideration,
Consideration.
I be like, no, that's not the right word. And she be like, deliberately,
I,
like, and yes,
I deliberately did that.
and so like sometimes she would use them right, but sometimes she would. She is so funny, and now that the time has come and went, I can sit back and laugh.
But, boy,
But when I was in it, I just didn't know what life was.
does anybody else out there like have a parent like that who are like just a quirky person, just like you know what I
Bruh.
mean, just like they are the best and the worst at the exact same
I
time.
literally felt. I told you at one point I felt so suffocated. Like
Yes,
I
you
felt
did.
like I could not breathe.
That is one hilarious woman. Like she is funny in her own right. But go on. I just wanted to say that.
What was I saying? I was talking about the source. Oh, to reiterate.
Yeah, to reiterate, that's what it was.
To reiterate, we want to watch these thoughts come and go, not give them judgment. And I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep repeating it because by repetition, you
That
start
is-
to understand
That's
shit.
a key to it all.
Yeah, but watching the thoughts come and go without judgment, not being too hard on yourself, being gentle with yourself, but also finding the source, because once you find that source, you can then start to like unlearn shit and learn new things, new thoughts. Not learn new thoughts, but learn new things.
No, you said right. Learn new
Learn new
thoughts.
thoughts, new way, and essentially, ultimately. Oh my gosh, I'm my mom.
No, you using them right though.
But ultimately, damn, I forgot what I was about to say. Ultimately, new ways of living, and that'll now serve you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really.
You are funny. But she is right. New ways of thinking. It's not necessarily new ways of thinking, but new waves of thinking.
Ooh,
You like that one?
I love that
New
one.
waves of thinking. As you were talking, I was thinking like our mind can be like water at times, and it can like hydrate us. It can boost us up, make us feel very well. But water is also very destructive. Hurricanes, people drown. Like going to the beach is a beautiful experience. You see people surfing and like. And it looks beautiful. If you ever seen somebody
Right.
ride a wave like
Yes.
surfing, it looks like one of the most calming things of all time.
Yeah,
Until the wave like overtakes them and then like they're gone. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You don't see their body, like what the fuck happened to them? The mind is like water at times. It could be beautiful, hydrating, and at other times it could be absolutely destructive.
Wow. You
Oh, stop it.
you are the podcast.
Stop it.
You
Stop
like
it.
what was I doing without you?
You were doing amazing.
You carry.
Oh, stop it.
You literally got
Stop.
me on your back
Stop it.
carrying this podcast.
So, with all that being said, you have to stop. And I said this in the other podcast, the viral clip that went.
Mm-hmm.
Stop clouding your own sunny day.
Facts.
And that is like one of the most destructive things we do to ourselves. Is like we like clown ourselves. We like belittle ourselves.
Like we literally we're our biggest hater. We're our own biggest hater.
And it can be the exact opposite in the same like conditioning manner. We've told ourselves these thoughts and things like that that are destructive to who we want to be and who we currently are, who we are building up. And they literally just block so many blessings. It blocks so many connections that you can have with yourself and with the world. That it's a process that I wish with a button I could erase from all minds, like that clouding it. But it is something that is very simple and it's in our everyday society, just about every person.
Yeah.
It's just a hard thing to escape sometimes, but you do it by conditioning the mind. Back in high school, before they did basketball season, before it was close to like 7 to 8 weeks before basketball. They would have this thing called conditioning that anybody could come to.
Okay.
That the coaches would do. And would just be us like running. Sometimes we wouldn't even play ball. We'd just be running, getting the body in ready for the season to come. We'd run, we'd lift weights and whatnot. It was just conditioning the body to get ready. You do the same thing. Your body, if you are a person who is surrounded by negative thoughts right now, your mind is just conditioning you to believe these things.
Yeah, your mind is conditioned. Because that's, when I hear or think of the word conditioned, I think of the past experience or our inherited belief system based on our environment. We were conditioned to believe X, Y, Z. So when I think about that word, that's what I think about. But I like the way that you are this other way that you're explaining it.
I mean, it's like the same thing. Like you said, we're conditioned to believe. It's like you said, your mom used to say money don't grow on trees. You didn't necessarily come from a household that had this positive belief around money that you can get it in abundance, right? It was more of a lack thing. So you were conditioned. You hear these thoughts. I mean, you hear these people's opinions about certain things. We'll just stick to money. You hear like that since you were 10. By the time you're 21, that's how you gonna believe money is working. Like that's how money works. It don't grow on trees. You need to be sacred of your money and like save it. And you might never take a risk or invest or start that business or brand in yourself because you have been conditioned to believe money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
But the conditioning can work in the exact same fashion, but in a positive way.
Okay.
As many times as you tell yourself that you are ugly, you can counter it with you are beautiful. And it's all about how you feel. A lot of times that we so trapped into our minds. I wish we weren't, but I said this yesterday, like the days you think you are pretty and the days you think you are ugly, you have the exact same face.
Yeah.
It's not like you morphed the face. Like your face goes through these phases where you look different. It's the exact same face. You just feel different about it today. You're thinking different. But you can condition yourself to see that face and always say beautiful, no matter what.
I love that. You said that yesterday, and I 100% agree. That's another thing that I say. I agree 100%.
I got it bad about absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That shit is horrible. I used to have a song back in the day called Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You remember that song? You used to like it a lot.
Absolutely.
that we are comedians.
We are. We need a stand-up show.
We do. We are like the kids in the back of the classroom making jokes, but they're not funny to the classroom, but they are hilarious to us. Like, oh God, it's bad here. Somebody needs to save us.
But one thing that speaking back to that viral clip, someone said, were you done talking about?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. But referencing. Refereeing?
Yeah, refereeing.
Referee.
Reformations.
Reformation.
Anyways, back to what you were saying.
Referencing back to that clip that we were talking about earlier, someone left a comment. I literally think myself into a bad mood. That comment had so many likes on it.
Yeah.
Because obviously, so many people can relate to that. And it just goes back to giving your thoughts so much power. I've literally done that. And I had to catch myself. I was taking a shower, was it the day before yesterday? I had a shower today too, don't get it confused. But when I was in the shower, day before yesterday, I was thinking something because just being honest, like my mom's and my dad's relationship is so strange. They date, see each other, I don't know what to call it, but she talks so badly about him. And when I hear that, it makes me upset. Some of the things that she's saying, it doesn't make me upset that she's talking about him. It's like affirming what I feel sometimes. Like he wasn't there in my life. You know what I'm saying? And then I literally started to think myself into a bad mood. Like he don't even text me on my birthday. He doesn't know my birthday. Just like all these.
Go vast into that dark valley. Go deep into it.
Exactly. And then that affects how I move in this world. That affects my relationships, how I talk to you, you know what I'm saying? Or how I treat you, how I respond to whatever it is that you're saying. And it's just such a bad thing. We as human beings, we take a thought and we literally run with it.
Yeah, go down there. We go deep down that valley sometimes of the shadows of death. Almost like it's endless too. Like the shadows of death. When you start to go negative, the funny thing about negativity is that we love it to an extent because it's forever. It can go any way.
It can be an addiction.
An addiction, and it is an addiction. If you look at American like cinema, like the movies we watch, the TV shows, it's usually all surrounding negative things, right? Because even the music we listen to is all surrounding violence and like drugs, and because a bad path can go on forever and it can change and it can evolve and like do so many things. A positive path usually looks the same on everybody to an extent. It's not as exciting as the negative. As I've heard before, a lie just sounds so much better than the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lie, you can make 1,000 movies off a lie, but the truth can only be told one way because it is only one thing. It is not two different perspectives. The truth is the truth, right? But you could go on a lie for many episodes.
Yeah, and another thing that made me think about is that misery is addicting, but it can also be comforting. Because we know what's going to happen. We know it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. But when you are on a positive path and you're thinking positive and everything around you is, light and love, there's so much unknown in that. We don't know what can happen. And we talked about this in the past, but if we're conditioned to and we're comfortable with this negativity, it's fucking scary when you don't know what can happen next. Even if it's like positive, if it's better for you, if it's good for you, it's scary because you don't know. The unknown can be so scary, but we have a whole episode on embracing the unknown, but don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta
you gotta embrace that unknown, what's unknown for us, because there's nothing but good on the other side of it.
Yeah, and just stay away from them valleys. Like,
yes.
Thought
That's what I was.
like,
that's my point. Yeah, I caught myself though. I was like, stop it. I was watching the motherfucking thinker.
Yeah.
I was like, stop it right now.
Stop.
No, we're not doing this today. And it takes.
Y'all jumped them. I said y'all jumped.
We
them.
jumped them.
Y'all jumped the dude. Y'all jumped. Got him good. Get him.
But we got him, and it just takes doing that over and over and over and over again until it's second nature for you.
Yeah, and it again, that takes time. So don't think it's gonna be, overnight you're gonna be able to watch the thinker. But just at moments when you say something negative to yourself, pause on it.
Yeah.
Pause on it. It's not real. Address it in your mind and say, we want to stay away from this kind of thought.
And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. The fact that this person was able to say, I literally think myself into a bad mood. That's a level of self-awareness that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Just being aware of that. Like, that's the first step. And I think people don't realize like acknowledgement and self-awareness is the real key. Then the next step is that self-management, and
Yeah.
that's
Ooh,
where we get
there we go.
to that's where we get to start like practicing watching a thinker and becoming a better version of ourselves.
Absolutely. Like I said, and it takes time. Don't rush into it. But like you said, just take accountability when you hear them negative thoughts. Say, I don't want to think like this. This is not me. This is not who I want to be. And don't go down them deep valleys.
Yes,
Don't
stay away from deep valleys.
stay away from deep valleys. Take everything as I almost take everything like a grain of salt. Ain't none of this shit that real.
Yeah. Yes.
Ain't none of this shit that real. Whatever somebody, even if like I said something bad happens to your life, somebody give an opinion about you or whatever it might be, take it with a grain of salt. Keep going.
I don't know why this part of this conversation reminds me of the TV show Beef.
Yeah, cause like if you've watched Beef, you know what I mean by a valley.
Yes.
They both of them couldn't let it go.
They couldn't let it go, and it wasn't even really that the fact that what was happening in the present moment. It was just so much unresolved conflict that was going on internally.
Yes,
If you have not watched Beef, you need to fucking watch Beef. It's on Netflix.
it's crazy. Both of them had to lose everything. Oh, girl,
She lost her family.
She lost her family. She probably lost the business that she was finna sell.
No, she already sold that shit.
Oh, girl died though.
The paperwork had already been done. Though.
Oh, okay,
She
well.
got them 10 was it 10
10
million?
yeah. So that was out the way. But she lost, like I said, so much. He lost everything.
Yeah.
All because they couldn't escape that valley is what we talking about. But
Yeah, but on a different note though, Amy and what was the husband's name?
George.
George.
Fly as hell.
Fitz.
George Fitz
Bust.
used to be so fire, bro. I mean, I gotta go back and screenshot some of his shit he had
You
on.
can't screenshot on Netflix though. That's
I'm
the
about to
thing.
record it from my phone then.
No, you can't.
No, I'm talking about like put it on the laptop and then take my phone.
Okay.
and, like,
That's
yeah.
smart. Cause I tried to do that shit before.
And it's just a black screen.
It was
with
just
it
black.
Yeah, that shit weird. Netflix real weird for that.
Nah, they just don't want you to like
I get it. Like they don't want you to bootleg
steal that shit. Yeah.
But why anybody trying to bootleg your little shit, bro?
You don't know.
Anybody trying to take your little shit, bro. Anyways, we started to ramble. That means
It's time to go.
it's time to go. So with that being said,
We love y'all. Thank you for being here with us today. Remember to watch that thing or give yourself credit if you can acknowledge it and you can see. Wait, what am I trying to say?
if you think it, you can be it. I don't know.
I don't know.
what
All I know is it's because it's time to go.
That's
Like,
because it's time to go.
all it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I done rambled so much that like now
I'm
it's
out.
Like,
I'm
getting-
out.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all out.
But no,
I'm wrapped out.
to close out, watch the thinker, support the thoughts that are good for you, and remember to take everything with a grain of salt. Even if you say it to yourself, it don't mean what it means, bro.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. You are handsome. You are beautiful. It is the same face every day, and we are comfortable and in love with this face,
Yes, with ourselves.
with ourselves. You know what I mean? You are one. You are not just your mind. Your mind is just a tool. You have a knee, a finger, elbows. It has a purpose and a job. It solves
Yes.
problems, and if you
It's and the thing about the brain, it's gonna keep trying to find problems.
because it likes to
For
go
the
to work.
mind. Yeah, so
That's it.
use your mind as a tool that it is. Do not let it use you. Do not become a slave to your mind.
Do not.
Don't get caught up. On that note, we love you. Sending you so much peace, so much joy, abundance, and everything you need in this moment. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. Mwah.
Peace.